Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm once again answering some of your questions, such as, has the new Raymond Weil that won the GPHG award worth it, or is it all fluff? And what about the popularity of Longines in the next 2 years? All that and more in today's episode. Now, of course, guys, first of all, I want to say Happy New Year. I'm back from visiting my family. Regular scheduled programming is also back. I hope everybody had a very happy holidays. And of course, the first thing I did when I got back into the office today was I put on my Patek Philippe 5296 sector dial. I did not bring this with me on my travels, but I was really having a hankering when I was gone. So yeah, I slapped it on the wrist today. And also, guys, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com. A bunch of super cool pieces came in stock, including a very rare Panerai Radiomir 1/8 of a second chronograph in titanium. Very hard to get and the cheapest one in the nation. We also got in the very popular Cartier Santos Blue Dial in the large size box papers. And do I really have to mention that it's the cheapest in the country? Well, it is. And a Blancpain 50 fathoms bathyscaphe with a ceramic case and the blue dial. This takes what I consider to be a very vanilla watch to the next level and is by far my favorite version of the bathyscaphe. All that and way more at delraywatch.com, the best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. Link in the description below. Anyway, guys, you know how it works after so many years. These are the questions you ask me on my Instagram account at Federico Talks Watches. A few times a month, the Q&A picture pops up. When you see that picture, feel free to ask a question. When I get enough questions, I take the picture down. Please do not DM me. I do not check them. And we will start in no particular order with Justin Allure. And he says, what do you make of the new Raymond Weil sector dial that won GPHG? I think it's pretty stunning, nicer than its Longines equivalent. Could they ever become a collector's brand? Well, Mr. Allure, this is an interesting watch to talk about. I will say I find it to be a very handsome watch. They nailed the vintage reissue. I love sector dials, as you can see. Nicer than its Longines equivalent, I'm not so sure, but definitely one of the most handsome Raymond Weils in a while. However, if you turn it around, it's just a Sellita SW200 with minimal decoration. Yes, it's priced well enough to just have a Sellita SW200, but that's the problem with Raymond Weil. They seem to be making some very handsome watches lately, but is that really enough in 2024 when you have all these brands competing on price and micro brands and even Longines who are not a lot more expensive and they're using more decorated movements. They're using ETA 2892s and in some cases even modified 2892s as opposed to just something right out of the case with no decoration. Listen, I like it. I like this Raymond Weil. Did it deserve a GPHG? On design alone, sure, but as a package, I don't think so. Could it ever become a collector's brand? Well, they can design a nice watch, but they have a long, long way to go. Will Treves, a regular on the channel, says, would you ever drive an EV, an electric vehicle? I think eventually I may have to, but right now I want to say no. I'm a big, big petrol head. I love, turbocharged 4s, V6s, V8s, V12s. I've driven a couple of Teslas. They're nice, but they don't give me this kind of passion. I like the noise. I like turbo lag. I like the visceral experience, and I just don't think EVs provide that. Now, EVs are getting better, and they're very fast, but that's not what makes the whole equation in my mind. Watch and unwind. How do you consistently have the lowest prices on the internet? And that's actually a real question. I will tell you, it's pretty simple. We don't like to play the game at Del Rey Watch. I'd rather buy a watch and sell it quickly And I've realized if I price it the lowest in the country, like compared to Chrono 24 and other dealers, it'll sell quickly. Then I get my money back with profit and I get to buy another watch. How do I have the lowest prices? It's by design. I'd rather not negotiate. I'd rather sell it quicker. I'd rather make a little bit less, but in the long run, I make way more because I sell more watches. My goal is to turn money around and to sell it as quickly as possible and to sell it with the least amount of hassle as possible, which is why we very rarely negotiate. We just come out with the straight, usually with the best price right off the bat. It's just the way I run my business. Sandwich Time Channel. Hey Fed, Happy New Year. I've been getting into alarm and chiming watches lately. I do not see modern Vulcain crickets on the secondary or gray market often. Would it be foolish for me to buy one new? Well, Sandwich Time, first of all, great job on getting into the whole chiming watch and alarm watch thing. I think it's a very underrated segment of horology. And Vulcain is a classic in that segment. They're modern crickets, they're in-house, they're, very handsome watches. Yes, massively underappreciated, and they don't make a ton of pieces, which is why you're not finding a ton of them on the gray market. But would you be foolish to buy one new? Yeah, you absolutely would, because I can tell you, Vulcain hits the gray market, maybe not all the time, but often enough to where you can get a deep discount. I mean, I've bought watches from Vulcain directly at cents on the dollar for resale. So while it's cyclical and you might not see any right now, I can tell you if you buy one pre-owned or gray market new, you can, and you're patient, you can get a huge savings compared to MSRP. I mean, I'm talking 50% plus off. So yes, it would be foolish not to buy one in general. I think Vulcain's awesome, but to pay full retail, just don't do it. Padro 43, your thoughts on Longines' popularity in the next 2 years? Well, it's hard for me to answer the next 2 years because I don't know what they're coming out with, but in the long term, in general, I see them as gonna keep going up. I mean, Longines is killing it. They basically invented or popularized the vintage reissue about 10 years ago. They collaborated with all the right people, like Hodinkee back in the day when they were still relevant. They kept their prices decent. They make interesting models. They have, yes, mainly ETA-based, but modified and interesting movements for the most part, and they play off their history quite well. I think Longines has been run fantastically as a brand, and I don't see that changing in the next 2 years. I think for the price point and for their elegance and kind of that vintage reissue space where they live, they're doing just well, and they're doing just fine, and I see them going to keep growing in popularity, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. It's great to be back. I promise to be coming out with more regularly scheduled videos moving forward. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.